It's time for Market Explainer, your number one business news podcast. Hosted by Danny and the big man. And it starts right now.
So this is a rumor.
When's the last time anyone used the word Eurotrash? Like, when was that? When was the last time someone...
using the word Eurotrash because I believe if you live in a country, you should love your country, and I love America. And part of loving America is hating Europe and Europeans.
I don't know that that's true, but okay.
Let me also say that LVMH has built a factory in Texas, so we really like you, LVMH. Please hire more people here.
More Texans, right? More Texans.
Yes. Yeah.
So look, here's the story. Obviously, the what you were saying. The rumor is that LVMH wants to acquire Ralph Lauren.
Now, let me tell you something that's very fascinating. Okay, LVMH is the most profitable, valuable company in the world right now. Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy is a conglomerate that owns Louis Vuitton, Moet, Champagne, Hennessy. I forget what kind of liquor that is, but they own Tiffany's. Is it
right? Tiffany and Co. Right? Tiffany and Co. was an acquisition.
They own Tag Heuer. I think they own Tag Heuer. I forgot. They own a
Christian
bunch
Dior,
of companies.
right?
Yeah.
Christian Dior.
Yeah.
They acquired them for $13 billion. Look, this is, if anybody's ever seen Pretty Woman back in the 80s, right? If you've ever seen Pretty Woman.
Yeah, and Richard Gere driving a Lotus Esprit.
Richard Gere. Yeah. And his company then, which was popular in the 80s, was to purchase companies and take them apart and make money. Right?
Corporators.
LVMH is just a company that is literally going out and finding these high ticket items, purchasing them, and then I want to make them in my factory, right? Yeah. I want to pay my poor people to stitch these. I want to pay these children in God knows where to stitch up this product because it's got your name on it.
Right.
So their profit margins go through the roof.
It's reverse Richard Gere. It's reverse Pretty Woman.
It's reverse Pretty Woman. So,
because he was tearing all these companies apart. They're buying companies, but listen, they're a luxury manufacturer. If you've ever picked up a piece of Louis Vuitton merchandise, it is not poorly manufactured, and that's the beauty of tiny.
I'm not
fingers.
saying it's poorly manufactured. I'm just saying that they're paying some kid in wherever to stitch these things together because their profit margins are massive.
Right, an adult finger cannot they cannot stitch that well.
They look, and that's how they increase their profit margins. Yeah. Here's the deal, okay? So I'm not a big fan of the company because, again, look, good for these brands that built up a brand and then sold it for a bunch of money and then they're no longer responsible, right?
Yeah.
If I'm the creator of Louis Vuitton and I got paid all these billions of dollars for making these things that I make, and then you pay me billions of dollars and now you can make whatever quality product you want because I'm no longer part of it, then good for you. However, Ralph Lauren, I don't know. First of all, Ralph Lauren is not it's not a Louis Vuitton brand, right? It is what I consider a high-end middle-class brand, right?
So it is the preferred brand of like well-to-do, not like wealthy, but well-to-do fat Americans like myself. Like, because they have a great big and tall section because they're an American company.
Well, based out of New York, right? Do you know Ralph Lauren's actual name?
Yeah, isn't it Ralph Lipschitz or something?
It's
like that?
Ralph Lipschitz. All right.
Yes.
The guy's 80-something years old, 82, I think, 83 years old, right? Ralph Lipschitz, which great for him for going with Ralph Lauren instead of Ralph Lipschitz. You know what I mean? Made him look.
I can't imagine somebody going to school and be like, my parents took me to the Lipschitz outlet this weekend. Like, that's not. It's Ralph Lauren.
Like, what did your parents do? If bakers were bakers and, you know what I mean, whatever, what did your parents do if your name's Lipschitz? That's all I'm saying. My point, though, is here's one of those, this is the American story, right?
Yeah.
A guy starts a a polo manufacturing company in New York City, has
Right.
always refused to base it anywhere but New York City. So New
Right.
York story, right? One of those old school New York
Yeah, and
stories.
they're like their New York store is like an old house or something in Manhattan. Their
Right.
flagship store is wild. So like one year I visited my uncle was living in Manhattan for a brief period, and I visited, and like his wife took me into the polo store. She's like, this is a big deal, and she's like, if you want to buy something, I'll buy for it. Nah,
Yeah, well, it's been there since 1967. That's the whole
right,
point. Is this is a classic guy from
yeah,
nowhere
right,
creates something that then he builds over the next. He was 28 years old. He's now
and
82. He
he's a
still runs
million
his
years old,
company, right?
right,
He still runs his company. 9 billion market cap, right? He
right.
went public with it. 9 billion market cap. Okay, there are definitely companies out there with bigger, but look, the problem is here is he's 82.
Yeah,
He's always now I say he's always ran it. He stepped down as CEO like a decade ago, but he still runs it. He still decides everything. It's
listen,
still his company.
the dude left when he was 70. He's clearly still making decisions over there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a sick car collector too. I
Why
think
wouldn't he
that
be?
I think the reason LVMH wants to acquire this is it gives them access to a different customer that they're not getting yet,
Absolutely.
and it creates a ladder for them to introduce themselves to the Polo customer. And as you know the economy crumbles, and those upper middle class people take their capital and make bigger and bigger investments, and they become super
Mm-hmm.
wealthy, they can start buying expensive watches, and they can start buying Louis bags for their mistress and that kind
So
of thing.
maybe a stair step. But again, this
Yeah,
is a profitable brand. Ralph Lauren is
yeah,
still a very profitable brand. I mean,
can't hate on
again,
it.
they're not making the money that LVMH is on their products per product, but they're still
But
a
still,
profitable brand. He's making money. He doesn't have to do this. Now again,
no,
if I was a big owner in Ralph Lauren stock, which I'm not, maybe you want to see this because again, how much longer can this guy go? And if he dies tomorrow, there's really not a clear succession. He has 3 kids. Only
right,
one of them actually came up through Polo and is currently a
okay.
VP of marketing, which, okay, you're a VP of marketing and you're Ralph Lauren's son.
What are you actually doing at your
He's never
job?
worked anywhere else but Ralph Lauren. So
Right,
is that the
right.
kid that you want, right, running the company after dad dies?
Yeah, and it might be one. I don't know about you and what you would want for your kids, but man, I would love the concept of building a business and having it for my kids. But I'd also love the idea of building a business and selling it and being like, you suckers got to figure your own stuff out. Good luck.
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
look, that's kind of a fantasy for everybody, right? Is to leave your kids something like that. But I don't know that traditionally that's worked out for a whole lot of people. Typically,
Right.
whether it's a generation or two, somebody sucks and somebody drives the company into the ground, right?
And on some level, it makes sense if you're Ralph Lauren to go, or Ralph Lipschitz in this situation to go,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to sell this to LVMH. Bobby Lipschitz is, whatever his son's name is. I don't know.
David,
Yeah. Davey's going to keep his job for 10 years or something. Maybe he's really
right?
good at it. Who knows?
Sure.
But LVMH is going to secure the legacy of our family brand. And we're going to take this money, and you guys are going to go invest it and do art or whatever it is that the children of billionaires do.
Well, I mean, look,
So,
so David, the guy that still works at the company,
yeah.
so it's Andrew, Danny, and David, I think. Andrew, Dylan,
Okay.
and David.
Right.
David married Lauren Bush, the daughter of George Bush. So he's doing okay, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean, that
Oh,
was
there's a legacy right there. All right.
well, that's the whole thing. Look, Ralph Lauren,
So what you're
big
saying is,
Republican,
yeah.
you
So
know what
what
I
you're saying,
mean?
yeah, yeah. So what you're saying is, Ralph Lauren's a lizard person, basically. I mean, just like, is that what you're telling me?
I'm just saying.
So
Look,
his
here,
son's
so
married into the lizard family, at least interspecies.
I think it's relevant in the fact that, like, if I was an 82-year-old guy that built my company from scratch, I got 2
Right,
kids that aren't interested in the business and 1 kid
right,
that might be, and God knows, again, who he might or might not be, right?
Right.
Should I just take the big check, right?
Yeah.
Sell it.
And this is a rumor, and there's no reason to believe that this might happen. But the point is, Hypebeast wrote an article about it. And let me tell you something. I think this is going to happen. I think LVMH acquires Polo. It's such a historic brand. I love it. I love the concept, but I've always been too chunky to wear it. So,
but I like the things. Look, it came up as a brand, right? Everybody knows the Polo logo, right, and that kind of stuff. Back in the 80s and 90s, it was a big deal if you wore a Polo. Like that was legit.
Yeah.
If you had a starch pressed. Like the straight polo. This is back when men used to literally iron creases in their jeans, right? If you had creases in your jeans and a polo, right, starch polo that didn't even move when you moved, it was like it was flat. And
So you grew up in south of Dallas, yeah?
Correct.
Okay. You grew up in not a fancy part of Dallas, like
no.
Okay.
But Dallas is a fake city, so even when you're poor in Dallas. You have that one or two outfits that.
So is that like, because I know, like, the Carolinas and Georgia and other parts of the South, the wealthy aristocratic Southerners, they wore that like, it looked like they were going. It was Easter every weekend, right? The kind of those.
Oh colors, polos and border shorts and
tucked into their shorts with the boat shoes. Let me tell you something. If I ever see a person like that, I'm running them over. It's sorry.
Just watch Caddyshack. That's it. Just watch Caddyshack. All of those guys are wearing polos.
I already know your politics. I already know that. Well, I support the cause. I put it on Facebook. I already know what you're about.
Yeah.
With your polo tucked into your neon-colored shorts. Good luck with your life.
Yeah. So I think it would be a good thing for both companies. Yes. LVMH would get a product, like you said, would open up a whole new audience to them, and maybe get the stepping stone. And then on the other end, this again, didn't know a whole lot about Ralph Lauren until I started. You know what I mean?
And he's actually like
for this article.
He's a fascinating
exactly. Good for you. Yeah. You built a business. You've made your money. You had a bunch of kids.
And one of the reasons I like Ralph is because he is Jewish, and he's not what most people think of when they think of a cowboy. The same thing of like, they don't think of the child of Indian immigrants, to be a cowboy, but he dresses like he is imminently roping a calf at any point in time during the day. And he lives on a ranch somewhere in Montana or something.
But again, good for him. When you get that kind of money, you can wear whatever you want. But look, I just want to, if I ever met this guy, I have a tendency, again, I'm a Texan. When I first meet someone, I have a tendency to use their last name, that kind of stuff. Having the word, Lifshitz just come out of my mouth. Mr. Lifshitz. I just don't know if I could pull it off. Like, I think I would go, hi, Mr. Ralph. I would just Mr. and then the first name. But I don't know that I could get. Can you imagine if he had a couple of daughters, like you know what I mean? My name is Deanna Lifshitz. Yeah. My name's Hannah Lifshitz.
But I don't think they're going to say it that way. I think it's going to be like, hey, this is my daughter, Hannah Lifshitz.
Hey, this is Lifshitz.
I don't know why they sound like Guido
I don't know why they became Italian, but Lifshitz. Like, I just don't know that, the Lifshitz manner would... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
All right.